The assassin drove up to an intersection and waited at a red light when a strange sense of alertness suddenly rose in his mind. The driver of the car in front kept adjusting his rearview mirror, and that gaze seemed to keep drifting toward his vehicle. With the instinct of a top-tier killer honed over years, Steve immediately realized he was most likely being watched. So the moment the light turned green, he floored the gas and quickly yanked the steering wheel, turning into a narrow alley on the left. He silently judged that if the other car didn't follow, it might just be a coincidence. But not long after, that same vehicle indeed circled back from the intersection ahead. Steve reacted instantly. He slammed on the brakes, reversed quickly, and then drove into an underground parking garage. Relying on his familiarity with the layout, he wound his way upward through the structure and eventually reached the rooftop, successfully shaking off the pursuit. He got out of the car and stood by the railing, carefully observing the situation below, confirming that he had indeed been the target from the very beginning. Steve was filled with confusion and couldn't understand who exactly was after him. But before he could sort it out, when he returned to his rented hotel safe house and was about to enter the door code, his mind suddenly went blank. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't remember the last digit. Fortunately, a neighbor happened to pass by and casually reminded him. Only then did Steve force himself to calm down and manage to recall the full password through associative memory. However, just as he closed the door, there was a knock outside, and he had even forgotten his backpack outside. At this point, Steve was caught in both internal and external crises. Not only was he being tracked by an unknown force, but early symptoms of Alzheimer's disease had begun to appear, and his memory was rapidly deteriorating. In order not to leave any danger behind for his daughter, Steve later took a thick stack of files from the safe in his safe house. He began reviewing them one by one. When he reached a group photo of gang members, he suddenly froze. The man standing next to the assassination target in the photo was none other than the person who had been secretly filming him on the street days earlier. After further searching on his phone, he finally learned the truth. The man he had killed years ago was the brother of a crime family member named Jess, and the person in the surveillance video was Jess himself.